All right, in this video, I'm going to teach you how to complete a W-9 no matter how you are taxed. So you could be a sole proprietor with a DBA, also known as a fictitious name agreement, an LLC, a single member LLC, a multi-member LLC, a single member or multi-member LLC that has elected to be taxed as an S corporation, and even a C corporation who is elected to be taxed as an S corporation. So no matter which category you fall into, I'm going to teach you how to complete the form. So let's say, you're a YouTuber or an affiliate marketer or a gig economy worker or a freelancer or any other type of contractor or business owner. You've likely been requested to complete this W-9. And once you saw it, in true IRS form, you looked at it and you're like, okay, I just need to complete this half a page of information. And then it's followed up with over 5 pages of instructions. And, admittedly, it can be quite confusing, but don't worry. I'm here to sort of demystify and clarify all that for you. And I'm actually going to share my screen here in a moment and complete the documents with you. So if it's your first time watching, my name is Navi Miraj. I'm a CPA who normally creates videos on tax strategies and how to save thousands of dollars in taxes. So if you're interested in that sort of thing, please consider subscribing to the YouTube channel and or visit my website. It's navimirajcpa.com. I've got a bunch of free resources there, such as my video library, an income and expense tracker. If you're a new business owner, that's a great tool to use. That's free. And even places to create your entities. Or if an LLC or an S corporation, you want to create one, you can do that completely free on my website. So before we talk about how to complete the W-9, and I promise I'm going to get to that here in just a second, let me briefly explain why you're even being asked to complete it, right? So the reason is this. Basically, if a business is paying you for services that you're performing, they want to know what name to issue that payment in, as well as do they need to issue a 1099 to you at the end of the year for the services that you performed. And depending on how you complete the W-9 will sort of clue that business or business owner in to, okay, based on the way, John Doe or whomever completed the W-9, I know whether or not I need to issue a 1099 to them at the end of the year. So again, if you're a business owner, you should be requesting a W-9 from people or businesses that perform services for you in order for you to determine if you will then need to issue a 1099 to them or not once the year is over. All right, so with that said, you know what I'm covering in this video, a little bit about myself and why you should probably listen to me, as well as when you as a business owner should be requesting a W-9. All right, so let's jump into it here. On my screen, the first example I'm going to show you is a sole proprietor. So this is pretty straightforward. I'm saying the sole proprietor's name is John Doe. You can see that here. All right, that's the individual's name. And your name goes on line 1 here because you are a sole proprietor. That's actually a tax classification. And when you file your tax return, when you file your individual tax return, you will complete a Schedule C, which is a schedule that is part of your individual tax return. So the name on line 1 is your name. You'll notice the instructions kind of say name as shown on your income tax return. And I've actually pulled up a Schedule C for you. You can see on the Schedule C, the name of the proprietor is your individual name. All right. So that's what goes in line 1. Line 2, you will leave blank. And I'll come to an example where you are a sole proprietor and you'll have something in line 2. You'll check this box here, individual/sole proprietor. You'll put your business address here, and you'll put either your social security number or your employer identification number. You will not complete both like I've done here on this form, all right? The reason why I completed both is to let you know that the IRS will recommend that you put your social instead of your EIN, but if you've applied for an EIN, you may go ahead and use the employer identification number here instead of your social security number. And so, by the way, there are, I mentioned it earlier, admittedly very confusing instructions down below on this form that you can see. So maybe you watch another video, or a friend told you how to complete this, or the business owner itself is giving you instructions. You can look at the other pages of this document for all the instructions. I'm going to show you here that on page 5, it kind of tells you, hey, what name and number to give the request store. And so you've got a whole bunch of options here, 13 different scenarios, and what name that you would give each one. And I would direct your attention to this item here, which is the subnote of 3, telling you, hey, you can use your social or EIN. So if you think I'm wrong, I'm likely not, and I don't mean that to sound, cocky or anything like that. I'm just saying, hey, I read the instructions and it's a little bit confusing because it mentions a few different things in a few different places, but this is where I'm getting the information from, all right? So you can use your social or your EIN. The IRS would recommend you use your social when you're a sole proprietor, but they do give you the option to use your EIN. All right, so let's say you're a sole proprietor and you registered what's called a DBA or trade name, or sometimes a fictitious name with the state. So let's say my name is John Doe, and I registered the name Sunshine Landscaping so that my clients can write checks to me called Sunshine Landscaping. I don't want them issuing payments to me in the name of John Doe. All right, so that's what I'm showing you here. You're still a sole proprietor, and so you're still going to use your individual name here on line 1, but on line 2, you can now enter your trade name or assumed name or fictitious name or DBA, however your state calls that, in line 2. For number 3 here, you're still going to check the individual / sole proprietor box, and you're going to put your business address. And once again, I won't go into all the details, but you have the option of using your social security number, or if you applied for an EIN, that's an employer identification number, you can enter that as well. If you have doubts about that, again, check below on the instructions. Look at it right here. It says sole proprietor or disregarded entity owned by an individual whose name, social you're going to use. The owner, that would be John Doe in this scenario. But if you read this note where it says 3, it says you must show your individual name, and you may also enter your business or DBA name on the business name / disregarded entity name line. You may use either your social security number or EIN if you have one, but the IRS encourages you to use your social security number. All right. So that was sort of scenario 2, where it's a sole proprietor with a DBA name. Let's move on to if you're a single member LLC, how do you complete a W-9? So once again, on line 1, you're going to put your individual name. And I know that might be contradictory to what you may have heard, but this is how you do it. You put your individual name here on line 1, because again, this is the name that is going to be shown on your income tax return, right? You're completing a Schedule C. When you're a single member LLC, you are by default taxed as a sole proprietorship. And so you're going to complete this tax form, Schedule C, which is part of an individual tax return. And you can see, again, line 1 of your individual form 1040 is going to be your individual name. All right. That's why I'm saying that. On the second line, you will write, you have the option of writing your disregarded entity's name. So Sunshine Landscaping LLC is the example that I'm picking on here. You're going to check that same box once again, individual / sole proprietor or single member LLC. That's your situation here. Do not check this box where it says limited liability company, okay? You're going to check this box. You're going to enter your business's address, and again, you have the option of using your social security number because you're still being taxed as a sole proprietor, or your business's EIN. Probably at this stage, if you formed an LLC, likely you have applied for an EIN number. So my advice is to use an EIN, but the IRS actually advises that you use your social. All right. Let's move on to a situation where you formed a multi-member LLC. All right. So let me just kind of switch this. Now, notice how your LLC goes on line 1. In the previous example, I showed you your LLC name was on line 2. Now, Sunshine Landscaping LLC goes on line 1. This is because a multi-member LLC is taxed as a partnership by default, which means you're going to complete Form 1065. I'll show you that real quick when you file your tax return. All right. And the name on this tax return is Sunshine Landscaping LLC. So that's why you're going to put Sunshine Landscaping LLC here in line 1. Okay. Now, there's going to be nothing in line 2. And here on line 3, you're now, instead of checking this box, you're checking the box that you are a limited liability company. And the way you are taxed is as a partnership. All right. So that's, sorry, I clicked on the wrong form. So Sunshine Landscaping Limited Liability box is the box you checked, and you're taxed as a partnership. Okay. So you got a P here for partnership. Again, the EIN number is what you're listed down here. You're not putting in your social security any longer. Okay. Definitely don't put your social number in there. All right. Now, what if you're a single member or multi-member LLC who elected to be taxed as an S corporation? How do you complete the W-9 in that scenario? And that's what I had accidentally clicked on prematurely before. You could see now that on line 1, Sunshine Landscaping LLC is here. You check the limited liability company box. You type S, or you enter the letter S for S corporation. You put your business address down here, and your EIN is what is going to be listed here. Once again, you're not going to put your social here when you are an LLC that's taxed as an S corporation. So this could be an LLC with a single member or an LLC with multiple members. All right. You're not going to check this S corporation box up here. I want you to be very wary of that. You're checking the LLC box and you're typing the letter S. Let me show you what the 1120S, it's just the tax document that you would complete when filing your S corporation return. And you see the name on it, Sunshine Landscaping LLC, which is why the name here is Sunshine Landscaping LLC, because that's a name that's going to be shown on, the income tax return. All right, let's move over to another situation, which is not as common anymore. But what if you formed a traditional corporation and you're now electing to have that taxed as an S corporation? So with this situation, Sunshine Landscaping Inc., right? I'm using the term Inc. here, not LLC, because you formed a corporation to start and you elected to have this corporation taxed as an S Corp. Well, this is the situation where you will check the S corporation box here. You're not going to mess with any of this LLC stuff because you're not an LLC. You're a corporation who's elected to be taxed as an S corporation. You'll put your business name and address. You will put in your employer identification number here. Once again, you've elected to be taxed as an S Corp. So your tax document that you'll be filing when you file your tax returns is the 1120S. And you can see the name on the 1120S tax return is Sunshine Landscaping Inc., right? Sunshine Landscaping Inc. is what you would have here if you were a corporation from the get-go and you elected S Corp status, right? And that's why Sunshine Landscaping Inc. is the name shown on your tax return. Okay, so with that said, maybe you learned something. I hope you did. Or maybe you found something in this video that contradicts another. I just showed you where the instructions are that say and show you why I say what I say in this video about how to complete the W-9. So if you found this video helpful, look for my other video related to this same topic, which is all about Form 1099 and when you as the business owner should be issuing a 1099 based on the way a contractor or freelancer completed their W-9 when you requested it, right? And so that's going to be helpful for you if you're new and even an existing business owner. You get confused about issuing 1099s, I clear it up in that video. All right, so with that said, I'll see you in the next video.